this morning at the Bulkey International Aviation Hangar to welcome Fly the Whale Airline to the USVI. Round of applause, woo! Before we begin this morning, I would like to acknowledge the presence of the Governor of the United States Virgin Islands, the Honorable Albert Bryan Jr., the President of the 35th Legislature, the Honorable Novel E. Francis Jr., other honorable senators present, Senator Franklin Johnson, Mrs. Laverne Joseph, representing the USVI delegate to Congress, Mrs. Stacy Plaskett, the Commissioner of the Department of Tourism, the Honorable Joseph Bushelta, also a Port Authority board member, other honorable commissioners and cabinet members present, the Port Authority board chairman, the world famous Mr. Willard John, and any other VIPA board members that are here, the executive director of the Port Authority, Mr. Carlton Dow, the acting assistant executive director, Mr. Bill Rollins, and the Port Authority's territorial airport manager, Mr. Jerome Sheridan, and to all the VIPA staff, our airport partners, our media partners here today broadcasting, other distinguished guests, and those listening and viewing remotely. Today is a joyous, joyous day in the U.S. Virgin Islands. We are all here this morning to welcome the president of Fly the Whale, Mr. Omar Urselchuk, and his team as they prepare to launch new air service connecting the U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. John, and Water Island. We can clap louder for that, please. As most residents and visitors here in the territory know, it has been a challenge, a serious challenge, trying to travel between the St. Croix district and the St. Thomas, St. John district for work, to visit family and friends, attend events, medical reasons. It has just been very difficult. We're all excited to be here today to welcome Fly the Whale, a new airline that would help alleviate some of those challenges we have endured starting this week. I know we're all thrilled to welcome them. So with that, I will turn the mic over to our first speaker this morning, Mr. Jerome Sheridan. He is the Territorial Airport Manager in charge of the airport operations here on St. Croix and St. Thomas.
And its airports. About a month and a half ago, Executive Director Carlton Dow declared within 60 days the territory's inter-island service would improve significantly. I'm proud to say that day is here today, and VIPA has done it again. Mr. Urselchuk, we welcome Fly the Whale. Fly the Whale has committed to serving the U.S. Virgin Islands with approximately 8 to 9 flights daily between the VIPA's airports. The Whale, as you effectively see behind me, are two Cessna 208 Grand Caravans that utilize a commuter and executive configuration. I'm also proud to say that Fly the Whale has made a home base here at the Henry E. Rosen Airport. That's a good thing, yes, God. They are also employing local staff to assist with reservations and bookings. However, I would like to take the time to acknowledge many of the folks who played a role in getting this initiative off the ground. I would like to thank my aviation staff, many of who are present today with us today, who worked quickly to assist the new airline entry into the USVI market and continue to support the efficient flow of daily operations. I would also like to thank many of the community leaders behind me who continuously set the new Virgin Islands standard. To the Honorable Governor Albert Bryan Jr., sir, thank you for your continued partnership with the Virgin Islands Port Authority, and in particular the initiatives to help move the Virgin Islands ports forward and the ports as a whole in the U.S. Virgin Islands. To the Honorable Novel Francis, President of the 35th Legislature. Thank you, sir, and your members of the 35th Legislature for partnering with the Department of Education to now see our children to have the community in this community to have the opportunity to fly the Whale. And also thank you to the members of the 35th Legislature. Our delegate to Congress, who couldn't be here but is duly represented, the Honorable Stacy Plaskett. Thank you for your continued support with the multi-million-dollar appropriations to improve airport infrastructure that attracts airline service such as the Whale and others. Continue to push for airports of the Virgin Islands in this FAA reauthorization year. Thank you to VIPA's governing board led by Chairman Willard John for being ready to approve the airport's staff initiatives. It is a result of this board's actions that we are here today. Lastly, but not least, thanks to VIPA Executive Director Carlton Dow, who continuously sets the vision of this organization and allows me the latitude to improve the territory's airports. Now, to the people of the U.S. Virgin Islands, we heard your concerns over the lack of air service within this territory. We now ask you to support inter-islands air service travel. And to the Whale, we look forward to a long-lasting presence within the U.S. Virgin Islands and expansion of service to different markets from the territory. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sheridan. As we're all aware, reliable air service is a critical component of our tourism product. Next, we will hear from our USVI Department of Tourism Commissioner and a member of the Port Authority Board, Mr. Joseph Bushelta.
Morning, Governor, Senate President Francis, all the platinum guests, people in the room, or the warehouse, I should say. My name is Joe Bushelta, Commissioner of Tourism. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy the Whale is coming at this time. You know, maybe you get some people from St. Croix to Carnival. You know, we open tonight. Monica said don't speak too long. Marshall on tonight, so get it going so everybody could catch their flights. But I just want to take this opportunity to thank Executive Director Dow and the Port Authority team, the Governor, the Legislature for continuing to support tourism as a whole. But as important to visitors coming to our territory is the ability of us, the residents, to move between the islands. I was having a conversation a minute ago with Sheldon from the Vibe that people now have more opportunities to get to St. Thomas this week and beyond. But people in St. Thomas who don't FET or go to GEMS have the opportunity to leave St. Thomas and come back over here to St. Croix and have a staycation this week and this weekend the same way. But it's only possible if it's affordable and there are options. And today, we now begin to have another set of options that allow people to move amongst us. I think the second thing I'd like to say is we always have questions, and for me as a tourism head, we like our visitors to be able to have what I call a trifecta. Hit St. Thomas, hit St. John, and hit St. Croix on the same trip. And what generally prohibits it is the ability to have flights between either St. Thomas or St. Croix, depending on which island you choose to have the vacation on. But now when we see options, 8 or 9 flights a day, now people could begin to do a day trip or stay an extra day or two because they don't have the same concern about if I get to one island, can I get back? And that helps us. And then lastly, before I conclude, we still have to continue to support private sector partners when they invest in a territory. So we have to then begin to book the flights. We have to tell our people, book the flights. We have to get on social media to say, hey, we have more options to get between St. Thomas and St. Croix now. So when you come in, at least explore the opportunity to move up between the islands. And lastly, Omar, can we get some flights today to St. Thomas for this evening? Oh, we got 2. Oh, very good. Well, thank you for that. I'll keep with the time limit, Manifa, and I'll walk away. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Bushelta, for not interfering with the Bacchanal tonight. Our next speaker is Board Chairperson, Mr. Willard John. He is a private sector member of the Port Authority Board, and he experienced the challenge regularly of trying to get to St. Thomas to conduct business from the private sector side, and he also experienced it on the Port Authority, being the Port Board Chairman. Mr. Willard John.
Good morning, Governor. Good morning, Senate President, platform guests, and everyone out there that can hear my voice. I'm going to start with a story. Had a board meeting in St. Thomas, went to a certain airline, who shall remain nameless, and the flight was canceled. Went to another airline, couldn't get over. Mr. Carlton, get the job done Dow, called Mr. Balky and say, my man needs a ride over. He said, sure, tell Willard come. I hitched a ride with them, and got over to the meeting on time. I tell that story to emphasize the importance of having reliable, safe service between the islands. And here we are today. I know that Carlton Dow has been in negotiations and talks with Omar and his group for quite some time. And then the pandemic got in the way. The pandemic is gone, and here they are. And we're very happy. It's important for business purposes to have this reliable transportation so people can get their business done. It's also important for people in the community to have access to the other islands because we are one Virgin Islands. And this brings us closer together. I tell people I'm not a St. Thomian, I'm not a Crucian. I'm a Virgin Islander. And having this reliable service enables us to interact with each other more, enables us to bond with each other more so that we can really act like one Virgin Islands. Omar is no stranger to the Virgin Islands. He knows this community. And it's important when you're running a business to establish good relationships with the people in the community. And I think he's off on the right foot. And I'll close by saying, I never knew that a whale could fly. I am now convinced.
Thank you, Mr. John. Before we continue, I'd like to recognize the presence of Senator Diane Capehart. Welcome and good morning. Next, we will hear from the president of Fly the Whale, Mr. Omar Arselchuk, and he will explain exactly how you fly a whale.
Good morning, everybody. Governor, Senate President, honored guests, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. It's very exciting. It's been a while since I've been in front of a microphone here in the U.S. Virgin Islands, but I can tell you I'm glad to be back. I'm not sure about the question regarding the whale and flying. All we can do is provide the flights. You fly them, and you tell us. So I have a lot of people to thank, and I think that's always the best way to get started. And the first place I want to reach out to is the people of the Virgin Islands. Ever since we started entertaining this idea, the welcome that we have got and the requests that we've got have been incredible. And I'll try not to get emotional because, you know, I lived here for 13 years. I was a part of this community in many different ways, not just with Seabourn, the good Seabourn, but also with the Chamber, with Hotel and Tourism, and we all work together to do the right things. And I see that all of you are doing that now. And when I came here before COVID, you needed it. We wanted to provide it, but we couldn't do it. And so I want to say some more thank yous very quickly because it's important. And one thing we have not mentioned here today, which is a thank you that is important, a partner of ours is that Bulky has worked really hard to make this service possible for us as our partner here with fueling and maintenance and for providing this venue here today. So let's thank Bulky, Bill Bulky and his whole team. Thank you guys very much. Now, I want to also reach out to my team, the people that have been on the team until this point, and all of our new people that are here that are going to make it happen so that you can fly the whale and let us know how it works. So please, I want to thank my team and recognize my team. Thank you. All right, so you've heard bits and pieces about how this all came to be, but I want to tell this story. So in mid-March, I came down to meet with Mr. Dow, and we sat in a table in a very cold room, and I think he keeps it that way because he's scared of fires, but he's not scared of putting them out. And because Mr. Dow turns up the heat on everybody. So we met, and in 2 minutes it was decided that we were going to do the service and that we were going to do it not by June when we wanted to do it, but by April. So I tried to push it as far out as I could. I needed to go back and get my team's agreement. I'm not a dictator at the company, I'm the president. And we got the agreement, and we said we were going to do it. It was an ultimate stretch goal. But guess what? We're almost there. We've got training that's going to happen right after today's session, and we've got training tomorrow, and we're going to make it happen. And we're looking forward to providing that service for you. But I want to go back and just recognize Mr. Dow. The vision and do you remember the old "Do It Now, Dow"? That came through. And Mr. Dow has 25 years of firefighting experience. And in that is the impetus to get things done, get them done right. And Mr. Dow called me sometimes twice a day. "Oma, everything okay? Need some help? Need to move some barriers for you?" And we took him up on that. He made things happen, and without him, we wouldn't be standing here today. Maybe we'd be standing here in 60 days. But he moved the barriers to make things happen. All of you, VIPA, his team that made things happen, thank you to you, and thank you, Mr. Dow. So in closing, the support that we have seen from all of you that are here in this room and many of you that are not is the reason that we are here. I would like to see Fly the Whale succeed on St. Thomas, St. Croix, and we need your support for that. And once that is successful, we will continue to grow it, St. Thomas, St. Croix. But there are other possibilities that are out here. And the one thing that the Virgin Islands is missing right now is a carrier that is based here. Our headquarters may be in New Haven, Connecticut, the home of Yale. However, the Virgin Islands needs its own air carrier. And we are starting by hiring over 20 people here in the U.S. Virgin Islands. And with your support and help, we can continue to grow that. And I would like to see us recreate some of the good parts of the old Seabourn once again. So thank you all for your warm welcome. Thank you for being here today and the opportunity to address you. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Urselchuk. And will the staff of the Fly the Whale please raise your hands so you can be acknowledged? Let them know that you're here and that you're Virgin Islanders. Our next speaker is the Virgin Islands Port Authority Executive Director. Now, our board chairperson called him Mr. Get the Job Done, Carlton Doe. He is Mr. Get the Job Done Now, Carlton Doe. I invite Mr. Doe now for his remarks.
Thank you very much, Munifa, and all what they were saying about me. I was wondering who that really talking about. It can't be me that they're speaking about. But I want to first, before I start, recognize the Governor of the Virgin Islands, Governor Albert Bryan, Commissioner Bushelter, the board chair, Mr. Willard John. To my left, the Senate President, Novel Francis, Jerome Sheridan, Mr. Omar. I'm going to leave the last name for you, but Omar. And Monifa, of course. But I want to ask all the employees of the Port Authority to please stand. I thank each and every one of you for what you do every day. I also want to recognize those senators that are present, starting to my left, Senator Diane Capehart. Please stand and be recognized. I don't like that kind. I was senator at times, so let's do this thing right. Please stand, Senator Frankie Johnson, and be recognized. And the representative from from the delegate's office, please stand and be recognized. For a minute when I saw it, I thought Senator Usi Richards was someplace around. In my Senate days, she had worked for Senator Usi Richards. But I also want to, before I get going, recognize one of the our board people, that's Mr. Kevin Rodriguez. He just joined us. Please stand and be recognized. As we get through this entire process today, I want us to really give a big welcome. Let's make noise that people in St. Thomas and St. John can hear for Omar and his staff. Stand, Omar, stand up, man, stand. Please, I'm asking you guys to do this. you know, a lot of times what the public might see is the end result. And even us as public people, sometimes all we see is the end result. But what must happen to get us to a day like today? And that's part of the focus that I want to talk to ourselves and the public about. OMA came to us prior to COVID. And man could propose, but God could dispose. And so we had all the discussion and all this plan. We heard the cry of the people as to inter-island travel. And in the midst of discussion with OMA, the whole world shut down. And he left. But because of the commitment that he held fast to, when COVID was done and we said, let's see how this thing gonna go, lo and behold, sometime in March when OMA called me and said, I'm coming to the territory and I want to meet with you. And so we sat in a room, yeah, it's rather cold, and I tried to keep my room cold, because I don't like the cold, and I suspect who is coming in ain't gonna like how cold it is either. So we either gonna agree on something quick and get out, or I wouldn't be in there forever. So anyhow, we spoke. And I think what I tell all business people, whether we agree or we disagree, you're gonna get a straight answer from Carlton Dow. And that's what I appreciate in our relationship with OMA. We were able to be frank with each other. He was able to set out some of the conditions. Yes, I want to come. But maybe like any new airline, if you guys could give us a little push, and I have to go back to a governing body and ask the members of the board to say, look, it's in the public's interest, not our own, but the public's interest for us to offer incentive for any new airline that wants to do this flight. And so the board, within record time, met, approved it, and we were able to send that out to OMA and his people right away. Give our board a round of applause. Man, I make some noise for the board. Because we live in a small community where we spend a lot of time chastising each other and talking all kind of stuff about each other. And I'm glad to be a part of the Port Authority in which we have a real functioning board. And we could, in fact, close our door and lick our child. But when we come outside, we will be unified in the best interest of the public. And that's what I really admire about the people in which we work for in this board. I just got a text, I could feel it. And one of the board members said, but you ain't call my name. Okay, Senator White, good afternoon. You know your people them. I also want to take a second because as OMA called me, I can't make these things happen alone. And one thing I know, when we work together, good things happen. We stay, we fight, we quarrel, blast each other, nothing good could come out of that. And so, just like OMA called me in March, before he left the room, I was on the phone calling the governor wherever he was. And saying to the governor, we have an opportunity, OMA wants to come here, and OMA is going to come down, he's going to meet with you. And at the same time, the governor, I guess he have a standard answer for me these days. Man, don't go ahead and do it. Call whoever you got to call. Just go ahead and do it. So when I go ahead and do it, I asked OMA what was happening. And of course, you know, it's a new business. They have to get a license. And we all could hear from time to time how long it takes and so forth. Right away, I contacted Miss Natalie Hodge. I contacted Mr. Evangelista. And those folks in record time, and my property manager, Ms. Deborah Washington. And in short order, bringing all these people together on one phone call saying, look, opportunity isn't waiting for the Virgin Islands. We need to do this now. And to Mr. Evangelista's credit and Ms. Hodge, they stayed on the phone, walked through with our property people, and make sure that all these dots were connected. And the bureaucracy, I don't have a good time doing bureaucracy. The bureaucracy was like, look, well, in order to get his business license, he needs to have a lease from the port. But in order to get a lease, he needs a business license. What kind of foolishness is that? I was like, I don't want to hear it. walk across the street, property licensing is across our street, carry whatever letter sign in it. He have a lease. Whether he have a lease or not, he have one. And that's the way sometimes I hate it, but that's what we have to do. So I really want to thank Mr. Evangelista. And then, of course, it's a new business, a new corporation coming to town. So here's the other hurdle now. Corporation and trademarks. I said, Omar, what's going on? He said, well, I get in there, but I guess I still need to wait on corporation and trademark. Now, this could have happened, and it could play out in June. But we know we wanted fly the wheel now. And so I spoke to Ms. Johannes at Corporation and Trademark, and I called in these folks' name because these are public servants, and I'm saying when we all work together, good things can happen, and happen quicker than what people normally expect. And so we got Ms. Johannes to deal with Corporation and Trademarks, and that was fine. And so we continued to move the ball and continue to move the ball. And then Omar said, I think, I met the senators, and they're on the floor, my good friend Novell, Frankie Johnson, all of them pressing me. What are you going to do about inter-island travel? All of them all over me, driving blows. And I'm saying that within 60 days, we're saying that we should have a commuter. And they said, why are you saying you can't tell us who this commuter is? Purposely no. Because I know our community. Before they even start to fly, they got on the internet, they're trying to find out every Jesus Christ thing. And so businesses comes to places of least resistance. And although people say they want inter-island, we'll find something. So we kept it as tight as we possibly can. And so when Senator Frankie Johnson saying to me, what about 60 days? That's a long time. That's June. I already had the answer from Omar that he was telling me he's going to do the middle of May. I said, man, you got to move this up. And then in a board meeting, folks on the board started to say, no, if you could get him to move it to May, then you could make him move it to April. I was like, I'll do anything as long as I tell him you're getting a pay raise on this one. But be that as it may, seriously, I asked, right when the board meeting going on, they challenged me to go outside and call Omar. Senator White all over me, call Omar now. I said, White, it don't really work like that. He said, well, I'm telling you to work it like that. So I contacted Omar, had the manager call him, and Omar said, wow. FAA was just coming on the 18th, and that's another reason we couldn't preemptively say anything. The FAA had to come to the territory, had to inspect the flights, and so forth. And that happened on the 18th. So you could see how these days were crunching. And while the Port Authority can continue to try to make the environment palatable for new flights, future flights, we can't make an airline come. And I want that to be clear. We could lay the groundwork, offer incentive. That's the things within our power. But at the end of the day, any airline is going to make a calculated decision whether or not they believe that this is going to be profitable to them, whether they can sustain what they're starting, and whether economically it makes sense. That's going to be the basis for them come or not to come. What the Port Authority and the government could do is make the bed up that if they decide to come, they don't have to go through all the red tape. We can remove some of that. And that's what we do. And I want to give a special thanks to Bill Rollins, stand up, and Avia and Cathy. You guys stand up all the time. And bear with me. But the reason I'm taking the time out so that this entire public could recognize sometime what it takes. And my staff say all kind of things, but I love them to death. And the reason being, nobody working for me have a day off. And it was Easter at Kramer's Park. Miss Elcock and her family was camping out. When I got a call from Omar telling me he brought some folks in over the Easter break. And they wanted to get into the offices and wanted to set up computers. That's what he told me over Easter when everybody was camping, in particular in St. Croix at Kramer's Park. I called Mr. Rollins. I said, Mr. Rollins, sorry to disturb you. But the last time I checked, you have our cell phone and you have our car. So take both of them and head to Kramer's Park for me, please. Find Miss Elcock. They could tell you. Find Miss Elcock and bring her to the airport to open up for Omar, his staff, or whoever. And she didn't push, she didn't fight. I said, I'll give you 2 extra days on the road. Take whatever 2 days you want. But in all sincerity, when you have staff like that who are willing to get a phone call and you camping with your family, but she understood the bigger picture in terms of where we want to go. Just her not doing that would push us back days, days behind. So I really appreciate all of you who took the time to take my call during Easter or whenever and get it done. I often like to end what I'm saying when we're speaking with each other on topics like this. Please bear in mind, we are open for business and the rest of the world hearing us. But remember, the rest of the world and the Caribbean is not waiting for the U.S. Virgin Islands. We have got to lead. And sometimes leadership means we do things, push things out of our way to get what we want done in the interest of the people. At this time, I'd like each and every one of you, this was short minute again, and I can't thank him enough regardless of whether it's travel or what have you. They wanted to do this right in front of Fly the Whale thing at the terminal. But when I think on it, I wanted to see those 2 beautiful whales behind us. And how else could we do that? So Thursday, I said to Munifa, I said, Munifa, I'll call Mr. Bulky. Thursday night, she said, I'll call Mr. Bulky and see if he would allow us to use the hangar because we could get a nice backdrop of the planes and so forth. So please put your hands together, really put your hands together, make a lot of noise for Mr. Bill Bulky, please. I sincerely thank you. And when I walk in, I saw a gentleman, he says, I want to come to St. Thomas for Carnival, and I come in now. And he's one of these people in our community, public speaking all the time. So I'm glad to see him in there. Man, Landval, stand up, the people, I'm see you, man. That's Landval. That's Landval. And all the media folks, Sheldon and everybody else, the consortium and everybody that's carrying this life. It's important for us to do this so that everybody know that we are open up and we're ready to do business. So again, Omar, I really thank you. I thank the staff. And that table is special to me. I hate to ask the security to, yeah. But you guys at that table, please stand up. Stand up. I just met them today for the first. And that table there, they introduced themselves as saying, we are some new employees of Fly the Whale. 4 young men in this community. Put your hands together for them, man. Thank you, guys. God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Dow. He told no lies. He pushes us, but he's an excellent leader, and his energy, we feed off of that. But as he also stated, the progress that we make, it's also done in partnership with a lot of the government agencies, and I'd like to recognize specifically the branch of government, the legislature, that has helped us tremendously, particularly since the pandemic, not just financially through appropriations, but also through land transfers and insurance. And they've been a tremendous, tremendous helpful partner to the Virgin Islands Port Authority. And it gives me great pleasure to have the Senate President here with us today to welcome Fly the Whale to the USVI.
Thank you very much, Mistress of Ceremonies, and good morning to everyone. Honorable Governor Albert Bryan, certainly Chairman of the Board. Good morning, sir. Mr. Pichelty, Director Dow, Governor's Cabinet. Of course, joining me this morning, I have the distinct pleasure of having Senator Diane Capehart and Senator Frankie Johnson, representing Senator Carrion's office. We have Ms. Janella John, who is also here. So, for not being scripted, I don't like the idea of speaking after Mr. Dow, because he always steals the show. But today is truly an exciting day for us here in the Virgin Islands. And as the representative of the legislature, the 35th legislature of the Virgin Islands, I bring you greeting and welcome, and to say, fly the whale, welcome to the Virgin Islands. When I saw Omar here this morning, I said to him, welcome home, Omar. Because Omar and I have gone way back. In my days as the Virgin Islands Police Department, I interacted with Omar, of course, with Seaborn, and then his capacity as the president of the chamber, the association and stuff. We have had many dialogues together. So when Mr. Dow started to talk about and try to impress the senators by saying that he's going to be having inter-island travel within 60 days, I said, I started to do some research myself. And while he was a little bit tight-lipped about this whole new airlines coming to the territory, I had to set up my drone because in my capacity as former police commissioner and police chief, I have long and far reach. And when I started to do my research and realized that Omar Sherkalek was the individual that was responsible for Fly the Whale, him and Mark and some of those other individuals that I've known to be around the Virgin Islands for some time, I felt comfortable in knowing that that 60 days will be advanced because guess who's on the case? Thou now. So I think after the first phone call to the governor, then certainly he started to make some phone call to me as well at the legislature because he always want to have in his back pocket an opportunity that the governor going to say, yes, but how are we going to fund it? So he want to have the Senate right there and stand by so that he could say, well, I've already spoken to the Senate President and the senators, and we have a funding source identified by which we're going to fund it. But the reality is that inter-island transportation has really been a problem for us over the last several years, and most recently as well. And Mr. Bill Balke and Billy is here, and as a result of that difficulty, a lot of times we have to call upon them to be able to fill that role and being able to move our legislature over in timely fashion, so that we could be able to conduct the business of the people of the Virgin Islands. So again, I want to thank Bill and Billy Balke for really, a lot of times Billy was tired. I mean, he may have just flown from Miami, he may have flown from Puerto Rico, whatever, but he said, we'll do it. So certainly I want to thank them for at least filling that void and that gap during that period of time for us. But that whole conversation about inter-island travel, again, was challenged by the fact that it interfered with our commerce. It interfered with our health care. It interfered with us being able to interact culturally, sports-wise. The conversation about building a bridge between St. Croix and St. Thomas started again, believe it or not. And then we heard about, it's 40 miles away, we have some treacherous sea travels there, that's impossible to do. So Mr. Dow, thank you so much, you and the Virgin Islands Port Authority, for really making this, as well as the board, for making this happen. Your tenacity, your stick-to-itiveness, your harassing ways have certainly once again delivered on the behalf of the people of the Virgin Islands. So we say thank you for that. So we identified that table over there that are talking about some young individuals, 4 males, and I see a female as well, that's working for Fly the Whale. Work, but keep your eyes open because we have opportunities. We want to make sure that we start to transform this Virgin Islands to make sure that our individuals that's working for those airlines could move on to be able to fly the airlines in the future. We are making sure that we set aside funding through the Department of Education and otherwise in the neighborhood of about $500,000 to be able to support individuals going on to school and coming back home and being pilots here in the Virgin Islands. We have seen it before, and we will continue to do that. So pilots, don't get a little nervous when you see them want to go in the cockpit or they're asking questions about what does this do and what does that do, and altitude and amplitude and landing gears and all these type of things, make sure that you're answering them in your best possible, and encourage them. Encourage them that one day they could sit in that pilot or co-pilot seat and become pilots and co-pilots themselves. So today's a great day. We look forward to what is to come. And I just wanted to end by saying that we continue to talk about all of the negative things that's happening in these Virgin Islands. And we have so many good things that's happening. And we need to start really focusing on the fact that this glass is half full. Stop the pessimism, and really let's come together as a community to make sure that we're removing all the barriers that's preventing us from being able to excel here in the Virgin Islands. Again, congratulations to Fly the Whale. Congratulations, Omar. And by the way, I also put a bug in Omar's ear that we just don't want to fly to the Virgin Islands. We just don't want to fly to St. Thomas to get over to St. John. We're looking to fly down in the Caribbean islands as well. We have a serious void there, and if we support this airline and make sure that they're up and running and proficient, in the next year or so, we could perhaps have Fly the Whale going down to St. Kitts, going down to Antigua, going down to some of the other Caribbean islands. Imagine the possibilities. Thank you very much, and again, excellent job, Director Dow and your team. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Senate President Francis, and you're absolutely correct. We need to focus on the positive, and just to give credit to our media, I am seeing a lot of positive in our newspapers and online. I'm seeing hospital wings opening, I'm seeing groundbreakings for new facilities. I'm seeing new airlines on the front page, and here we are again, another airline collecting the territory. So we are making progress. Congratulations to the Port Authority, and congratulations to the Brian Roach administration, led by our Honorable Governor, Albert Bryan Jr. Please stand.
Thank you. Thank you, Monifa. Please be seated. Good morning to the entire panel. Good morning, Senate President. Mr. Dow, congratulations. Another bold move. Chair Willard, Joe, Bushelta, our Commissioner of Tourism, other senators, friends, family, guests, new employees. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I was up there, you see me concentrating. I'm trying to make sure my face don't make any weird faces so they can make more memes about me. It's hard work keeping your face straight. I think we should make it so the governor gets to speak first, because after everybody said everything, is not much to say. But I always got a little trinket for you, and I want you to know, to the listening audience, both here and in the public on the airwaves, that this administration, my team, we don't do anything by accident. We have a plan that we're executing every single day. And that plan has really three components to it: is to make stronger families, to make a stronger infrastructure, and to make a stronger economy. And people ask me, when are you going to stop campaigning? You can't run again. But the campaign doesn't finish when you get elected. You got to start campaigning on the issues that you said you're going to bring to fruition. You see, we actually have a plan that's called the People's Plan. And today is a huge day for the People's Plan, because the people them said they want transportation. Ring, like magic. The people get transportation. And it didn't come by magic. As you heard before, it's a lot of hard work. And thank you, Omar, for bringing, if nothing else, a whale to fly to St. Thomas on. And I'm always thinking about what else I can do as governor, as an administration. I wear out my staff thinking about this, and I thought of something right there, and it's going to probably irritate them, because my OMB director keeps telling me, don't spend any more money. Don't promise anybody anything. But so, Jennifer, I'm not going to take it out of your fund. I'm going to take it out of the tourism revolving fund. It's enough that we're going to do things that we make college education free. We make it vocational education free. We're putting in more Head Starts. We're putting in pre-K. Stronger families, right? We're doing the things with roads. Like my partner texted me this weekend. He said, boy, I'm coming up the highway and the lights blinding me. People them say they want light. Let there be light. We're making sure we're building in WAPA, everything that we're doing in conjunction with the legislature. Thank you, senators. We're building that stronger infrastructure. We're also doing the stuff to build a strong economy. So, Omar, today you did a lot of things by bringing back Fly the Wheel. First of all, you answered the people's cry for inter-island travel. Now, all who are crying, make sure you start buying them ticket to fly inter-island. Because a lot of people making a lot of noise. I want to make sure that the Whale is full every day, Cape Air full every day, and Silver full every day. Not just the Whale. So in order to inspire you once again, here goes the spend. I thought about it, and we're going to start to inspire people to fly to the other island. So I like golf. So if you're flying, if you're a St. Thomas flying to play golf, we're going to figure out a way to give you a nice little credit on your golf game, right? So you don't have to pay as much. We're going to try to expand it to all the things that we're doing because it's summer now, right? So if you want to go sun sailing in St. Thomas, or you want to come to St. Croix to visit the fort or to take a tour, we're going to be able to give you a credit for that. Joe, take care of that. So now we're doing two things, right? We're not only connecting the islands, but we're bridging the economic divide between St. Thomas and St. Croix, because the more people travel back and forth, especially the tourists, the bigger the spend. Because all we're trying to do every day is increase the spend, increase the stay, and increase increase the stay, the spend, and the hours that the tourists stay in the Virgin Islands. So every single day, we want to make sure that when tourists come on a cruise ship, they come back for a 7-day stay. If they come out in the day, we want to make sure there are activities that go on to the night. They see one island, we want them to see the other two. We want to make sure we get out as much money as possible out of them before they leave here, leave this Virgin Islands. And while we're doing that, make sure that they have a good experience. Lots of people have been to St. Thomas that want to see St. Croix and vice versa. So thank you for that. The other thing that you did is competition. Competition is always good. We're going to see that reflected in the fares, we're going to see that reflected in the service, and we're going to see that reflected in the consistency. I don't think anybody flies more between the two islands except probably Dr. Chase and Dr. Bako and their staff. They're always on that 7 o'clock flight back and forth. So I am greatly affected by what happens too. And I've seen the performance and sometimes the not so performance of our airlines. Every single piece of this is our tourism product. No matter what airline they fly, if they have a bad experience, they had a bad experience in the Virgin Islands. If they went to any hotel, it was a bad experience in any hotel in our Virgin Islands. We have to understand that we're building a product that we want to be proud of. Like Dow said, the Caribbean is not waiting for us. We want to be the leader. And now that we're doing this incredible transformation via the recovery, we want to be the forefront of economics, of infrastructure, and definitely of people and families that we're doing. So thank you for bringing the Whale. I'll fly it right now, we're going to find out. The Whale to the Virgin Islands and making this experience better for not only our residents, but for all our guests that visit the Virgin Islands as well. Mr. Dow, right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor Bryan. And that concludes our program this morning. I'd like to thank you all for coming. Now we're going to move over to the Whale, which is actually the aircraft here on our left side, and we will have our ribbon cutting ceremony. But before we get up to get that done, I want to thank the Port Authority Airport staff for putting this all together for us, and to also let you know we'll have refreshments after the ribbon cutting. Okay?
again. Fetters coming home cause we miss